Your phone didn't change, the scene didn't change, the light didn't change. So why does one of these photos make you feel something and the other one's just a picture? 8 seconds. That's the difference between these two frames. Not a better phone, not a filter, not a different location. 8 seconds and knowing what to wait for. If you've been watching this series, you've learned to see the light, find it anywhere, and make decisions that add depth to your shots. Today, we're adding the final dimension that most people completely ignore. Photography isn't just about where you stand, it's about when you press the button. Coming up, the 3 timing mistakes that are costing you your best shots, and none of them have anything to do with your phone. Here's something I've noticed after 50 years of teaching photography. Beginners think their photos are mediocre because of their equipment, then they learn it's actually the light, then they learn it's the composition, and then they hit a wall. Because even with good light, even with strong composition, you can still miss the photo, not because of what you can see in the frame, because of when you decided to capture it. Everything we've learned in this series lives in space, where you stand, what you include, how you arrange depth. This video introduces the other dimension, time, and it changes everything. The most common timing mistake isn't hesitation. It's the opposite, shooting the moment you arrive. I call it spray and pray. You see something interesting. You pull out your phone, you take 15 shots in 5 seconds, and you hope one of them works. Sometimes one does, often none do. And the frustrating part is, you were standing in front of something worth photographing. Here's what watching teaches you that shooting doesn't. Every scene has a rhythm, people move through it, light shifts, expressions change. A scene that looks mediocre in its first 5 seconds often reveals something worth waiting for, if you give it 20. The fix is simple and it costs you nothing. Before you raise your phone, watch. Give the scene 15 to 20 seconds of pure observation. Ask yourself, what's the best version of this moment likely to look like? Then, wait for it. This single habit will improve your photography more than any piece of equipment you could buy. Observation before capture. Watch first, shoot second. But there's a flip side to this, because some photographers make the opposite mistake, and it costs them just as many great shots. Hesitation is the other side of the timing problem. You see something, you think, should I take this? And while you're thinking, the photo leaves. Here's a rule I've taught for years. The moment you ask yourself whether to take the photo, take the photo. That question is your instinct telling you something is worth capturing. Trust it and act on it immediately. There's also something phone photographers need to understand about their equipment. Your phone has shutter lag. That tiny delay between when you press and when it actually captures means you need to press before the peak of the moment, not at it. By the time your phone fires, you should already be a half second ahead. This is exactly what burst mode was designed for. Hold the shutter button instead of tapping it. Your phone fires multiple frames per second. You choose the best one afterward. Most phone photographers never use this. It's one of the most powerful tools you already have. Spray and pray is taking too many shots of a mediocre moment. Burst mode is taking enough shots of the right moment. The difference is whether you've already done your observation work. So far, we've talked about reacting to moments, but the best photographers don't just react, they anticipate. Anticipation is the highest timing skill, and it's completely learnable. It's the ability to read what's about to happen before it does. A wave builds before it breaks. A child's face telegraphs a laugh about 2 seconds before it arrives. Clouds move in a direction you can watch. Light has a quality in the seconds before it peaks. That tells you something extraordinary is coming. When I'm on my patio in the early morning, I'm not watching my phone. I'm watching the light moving across the desert. I can see 5 minutes ahead of time when something is about to happen to those saguaros. I have my phone ready before the moment arrives, not when it does. This connects directly to what we covered in our earlier video, finding good light. Good light has windows. The window for a specific kind of desert morning light might be 8 minutes. If you're still fumbling with your phone when it arrives, you've missed it. Anticipation means you're positioned and ready before the light peaks, not scrambling when it does. Anticipation isn't a talent, it's pattern recognition built through attention. The more you watch scenes develop, the more you learn what setups lead to what moments. You start to read situations the way a chess player reads a board, several moves ahead. But anticipation has a cousin that almost nobody talks about. Watch a portrait photographer at a family session sometime. They never stop talking. They're not being friendly, they're being strategic. The right word, the right joke, the right sound at the right second produces the laugh, the look, the connection they've been waiting for. That's called patter. And it works just as well with your phone at a backyard barbecue or a family dinner. You're not waiting for the moment anymore. You're creating it. Observation gets you ready. Anticipation tells you what's coming. Pattern makes it happen. All of this, the observation, the restraint, the anticipation, comes down to one discipline that nobody talks about in photography tutorials. My patio gives me the same cactus every morning. Same plant, same location, same phone, and I've never taken the same photo twice because the light is never exactly the same, and I've learned to wait for it. Patience in photography isn't passive, it's active. You're watching, reading, anticipating. You're asking the scene questions. What's the best version of this you're capable of showing me? And then you wait for the answer. Some of my best photos have come from returning to the same location multiple times. Not because I lacked patience the first time, but because I saw on the first visit what the location could become, and I went back when the conditions were right. Here is the single most important thing I can tell you about timing. The camera is the last thing you pick up, not the first. When you arrive somewhere worth photographing, put your phone in your pocket. Look, walk around, feel the light. Notice what's moving and what's still. Understand the scene. Only then do you pick up your phone, because now you know what you're looking for. This is what separates photographers who happen to take good photos from people who make good photos. The making starts long before the shutter fires. Come back to these two photos. You know now why they're different. Same light, same composition. One moment was observed and waited for, the other was taken on arrival. 8 seconds and a habit of attention. You have the spatial tools now: light, depth, decisions, composition. You have the temporal tool: timing. What comes next is understanding how your viewer experiences the result. Because once you've captured a great moment with great light and real depth, how does someone's eye actually travel through that image? Where do they enter? Where do they go? Where do they end up? And once your viewer's eye has depth to travel through, that's our next conversation: how the eye actually travels through a great photograph. I'll show you exactly how it works. See you there.